Should companies force their employees to be nice to you? I just learned that until this week, cashiers at the pharmacy chain Walgreens were required to say, "Be well" at the end of every transaction. How weird is it that a company can enforce politeness? Would you rather have a person be forced to be pleasant, or would you rather them be honest and be able to show their true feelings? Even better, have either of you been in a situation where you were the one having to say a canned response to customers? Lewis, the situation, what do you think?
The reason I like the canned response is because it gives me some sort of consistency. So if I know every time I'm at Walgreens or Rite Aid or Duane Reade or whatever, they're going to tell me like, oh, be well, I kind of come to expect that. But at the same time, I could see that annoying me if it's over the top. If it's something like, oh, be well, have a nice day, thank you for shopping at, Best Buy or whatever, I could live with that. But now if it's like too much down your throat, that I could see that could be annoying. Like if they're following me through like every single aisle in the store and they're constantly telling me like, oh, how many, that becomes over the top. But otherwise, I kind of like knowing that I'm gonna get a very consistent experience regardless which store I go to every single time.
You may have just turned me around with just like that on this, because I always get anxiety going into places like, oh, what are they going to ask? I keep like repeating my order just to make sure I get it right. Like, oh, if they're going to, am I going to like, I get kind of anxiety of like, oh, how's your day? I like, how much do I tell them? I don't know. But if it's like a consistent experience and they're sticking to a script, then I can anticipate it,
Right.
So,
because the worst is if you go to the store and you have a great experience, like, wow, they were so helpful, so polite, and then you go to a different store 2 months later and they treat you like crap, you're going to be like, oh, this is horrible,
Right.
Dan, what do you think about this?
Actually, I'm okay with corporate politeness because I've grown to really admire the people at Chick-fil-A because every time I go there, they are the nicest people in the history of the world. It's like,
because if they're not, they get fired.
Apparently, I think so. But you know what? The interesting part about that is every time you go in there, by the way, if you say thank you to them, the automatic response is my pleasure.
Right, not you're welcome.
Yeah, not you're welcome. It's my pleasure. And
every time I hear someone say my pleasure, I just like my brain says they were forced to say that. I don't believe that it really was their pleasure. Like, is it really their pleasure to give me a little bit more ketchup?
Well, here's the thing. Yes, I agree with you. There have been times when I've been in there and someone says my pleasure, and they don't mean it. But I have been in there and where you start to hear it and you look at their face and you know that they actually mean it. I think it's one of those things, the more you say it, the more it becomes ingrained in you. And I've noticed that that what?
They're brainwashing you.
Yeah. They are brainwashing me. But I've noticed that being picked up at other places now, too. Like I saw it at a Taco Bell. They started saying my pleasure, and a Carl's Jr. started doing it. So apparently it's causing a difference in the retail world.
Or maybe these are just people that used to work at Chick-fil-A and now work there and haven't been able to break the brainwashing,
That's a good point.
I will say the other side of this is allowing people to say whatever they want and not mandating any kind of politeness, which often leads to cashiers calling me big guy or chief.
No, that's
boss.
That's the worst. But I think, here's the thing, though. But I mean, I have been in fast food situations where the cashiers are horrible. Like they don't even say anything. It's like they just put their hand out the window to grab your money, and then they give you your change. They don't even say anything. And I would rather have the happy, my pleasure, thanks for coming, drive carefully, whatever.
Do you want a fake happiness or do you want something real? Like, do you want their real feelings, their utter disdain for you coming through?
Of their real feelings.
Well, actually, I figure if I'm eating their food and it's not real food, I should be okay with a not real attitude.
I think there's a Goldilocks zone, right? There's a place where staff can be not too fake but not too real. We can kind of.
But it also goes with the uniform thing. I mean, like, do you like it when like workers wear a uniform? Like Best Buy has their blue and black uniform.
Oh, right.
I think that all goes with the consistency. Like you know what they're gonna look like, and you know how they're gonna react, how polite they're gonna be. Now imagine if like Best Buy were to say like or Toys R Us or whatever, they would say like, oh guys, you could wear whatever you want and act however you want. Then you're going to see people, like, some people are going to be dressed up. The majority are probably going to be dressed down, maybe wearing jeans and shorts. You're like, does that guy work here? Is he shopping You know.
Right. Yeah, now
Sure.
that's
Right. I mean, there is the corporate branding thing about the whole situation as well, and I kind of understand it from that angle, like the Walgreens Be Well thing. You know, it was to kind of like reinforce that as their brand, like a wellness
Right.
brand and things like that. But you know, when it comes down to I don't know, like overriding a person's like you'd like to think that you're hiring naturally polite people rather kind of forcing via corporate laws then I'll anyone honestly. So I guess what I'm saying.
well. Here's the thing. I think the Be Well thing is kind of creepy because it sounds like some weird Orwellian Logan's Run kind of thing. I don't know. It just creeps me out. It's like Be Well.
Well. Well, that's our 2 cents. What's yours? Do you think workers should be forced to say specific phrases, or can people be trusted to be polite on their own? Leave your comments below. For DealNews.com, along with Dan Ledbetter and Luis Ramirez, I'm Jeff Summergy. Be well.